Oh, I look very yellow. Sorry about that, guys. Playing with my light a little bit. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. Well, hello, everyone. It's your girl, Gabrielle. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. If you have no idea what this show is about, let me tell you what this show is about. This show is about getting down to the nitty gritty, the deep dark details. We talk about things that you don't really talk about out loud. You tend to talk about it with your friends in your close circles and a enclosed space. So we like to take those things and we like to put it out there. And this is the show where we like to get steamy and get all hot and bothered. No, so this is not the show for celebrity gossip. So if you're looking for celebrity gossip, this ain't the show, but this is a show where we educate you, and we tend to focus on topics in education, health, families. Uh, we've done episodes on financial literacy, being a child of divorce. What does it mean to be a man? What else have we done? We've talked a lot about ADHD. We've also talked about, being deaf. So we've covered a lot of ground within a pretty narrow scope, but that does not mean that we can't get down and dirty. We can still get down and dirty, and that's what we're going to do for you today. So let's get right to it. So I'm excited about this episode. Let me tell you what the name of this episode is. The name of this episode is, hopefully you can see that, The Truth About the Virtual Assistant Industry. So this is a very interesting topic because for those of you who are obsessed with Facebook, there's all these posts about people looking for virtual assistants or who want to be a virtual assistant, and there seems to be this explosion of the field because of the pandemic. And I definitely want to get down and dirty into that and have that discussion and actually talk about what that is. So I do want to make a quick comment. I see some viewers here. For those of you watching this in real time, I encourage you to ask questions and leave comments. So definitely put all that in the chat and we will get to it as much as we can throughout this episode. So with that said, I have a guest with me who's going to help me with this, who is going to sit on the hot seat. Her name is Brittany Gregorio, and I can't wait to tell you about her. So let's get right to it. Who is Brittany Gregorio? Let me tell you who she is. So Brittany started her business as an experienced virtual assistant and flourished into a marketing strategist specializing on content marketing. Her passion is helping entrepreneurs reach their growth goals. When she is not running her successful company, she spends a lot of snuggle time with her 3 boys, 2 rescue cats, and loving husband. Beautiful. Just beautiful. All right, so let's get right to it. I'm going to bring Brittany to the stage right now. Hey, how you doing today?
Hi, Gabrielle. Great. How are you?
Good. I definitely I can't wait to have this discussion with you about the virtual assistant industry, and I definitely want to put it out there. So let's do that. So let's start off with a simple question. What is a virtual assistant?
So that's such a great question. A virtual assistant is an assistant to an entrepreneur. There can also be personal virtual assistants, but mainly an assistant to an entrepreneur helping with administrative like tasks. There are all different types of VAs out there. Some specialize in things, some are just kind of general admin, but it's almost like an admin assistant in an office, just virtually.
Okay. So, um, I, I, I think because of the pandemic, sorry, before I even ask that, why would someone need a virtual assistant? What's something that a virtual assistant does that no one else can do?
Right. So virtual, it's not a secret that a lot of businesses are online businesses. There are a lot of coaches out there. There are a lot of product driven entrepreneurs out there that don't have a brick and mortar. So the world is just kind of moving toward a more virtual space, which is great, So a virtual assistant can handle, client correspondence. They can do tracking, reporting, scheduling, make some calls if need be. It really does depend on the specific entrepreneur's needs. They can help with social media, marketing. There's a wide array of services that a VA can offer.
So now, you bring up an interesting point in that there's a lot more online businesses, there's a lot more coaching. Um, so why would someone get a virtual assistant as opposed to a personal in-house assistant?
Well, if they're online and they don't have a brick and mortar, I think that puts the entrepreneur in a tough position because, I don't know, would somebody come into your home? I'm not sure how that would work. So a lot of people are just leaning on virtual assistants. But even before that, even when you have these companies and you have brick and mortars, outsourcing jobs just always seemed to be a trend. Even years ago, even before COVID, I saw it. I used to work with a company out in California and I live here in New York. So I worked virtually for a very long time for them, and they would outsource some of their HR tasks to, virtual admins overseas, which was really cool. So it really depends on the need, but it is definitely just moving. I think it's easier, in my personal opinion, to hire a VA that you can kind of, especially when it comes to taxes and things like that, it might get a little sticky with, full-time, part-time actual employees. So that's also another, probably reason why a lot of entrepreneurs do that as well.
So, I mean, that's an interesting point. Like, a lot of businesses are online, a lot of them are virtual. Some people don't have a brick and mortar. There's a lot of home based businesses. Our company, Step Ahead Tutoring Services, I, being the director, I operate out of my home. So I don't necessarily want people coming to my home. I definitely see the appeal of having a virtual assistant in that you still get done what you need to get done if, someone is operating outside of the home. Maybe they're working remotely. So I do see the appeal to that. So what are some things that a virtual assistant does? I know you. So without what oh, I gotta think of my questions. So without a brick and mortar, what's something that a virtual assistant can do?
Right. So another great question. I personally, I have the opportunity to work with a lot of coaches out there. So that's really great for me. So what I do to help them, and every VA is different. Like I mentioned before, some niche down and some choose to stay in the administrative space. So in the administrative space, you're talking emails, phone calls, scheduling, client correspondence, customer correspondence, following up, making sure someone is happy with the product, maybe some tracking, maybe you create a spreadsheet and do some tracking, maybe a P&L report for taxes. So those are some things that an administrative, that's a tongue twister, assistant, a virtual assistant can help you with. Then you have people out there like how I started, and I was a little bit more specialized. I started out in the administrative, realm, when I first became a VA and launched my business. But then I really went into the marketing realm of things and helped with social media, strategic marketing, copywriting, content. All those things are really important, especially if you want to see growth. If you have an online business, if you're a coach or whatever kind of entrepreneur you are, and you have an online based business, growth is really important. And that's what I personally found myself helping my clients with, was mainly growth. I slowly got out of the admin and into this whole world of marketing as my business evolved.
So, do you find yourself doing more marketing than any other task?
Yes, it's all I do is marketing. But with that being said, marketing is a very large umbrella. So a lot of things fall under marketing, including your copy and your content, your graphics, your brand even. As an entrepreneur, everything that you put out into the online space, especially social media, is really considered marketing because it's representing your brand and who you are as a brand.
Hmm. So, as a virtual assistant can do things. I know I've used virtual assistants in the past. They've done things for me like making cold calls or generating mailing labels or what else have they done for me? They've also um, I did say cold calling. I'm trying to see what else have they done. Oh, I think yeah, they also helped with social media. So all these things, whatever you want, you know, an assistant to do, that person can do it for you virtually. And that's one of the appeals of the industry. They could do things like cold calling, mailing labels. Social media is a big one. Marketing is a big one. um, so I think it's the evolution of technology in that someone doesn't have to be next to you in order to do these things.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's fascinating actually that it's and so much gets done with the right team member. See, I like to refer to virtual assistants and any virtual people that are coming into an entrepreneur's life as a team member. So it really boils down to the right fit for you.
All right. So where does one find a virtual assistant?
Well, that's a really great question. There there's some really great groups out there. Really, any Facebook group where you just kind of put it on social media, there's always someone that knows someone that's in the what seems like now that's in the VA space. You can utilize platforms such as Fiverr. That's a really great platform. You just really need to know, as an entrepreneur, you need to know what you need, and you need to almost set expectations for yourself as to really what you're looking for, what your budget is, and what you're expecting from this new team member that's coming into your business. If you're needing a more high end team member, a more high end service, take marketing for example, that might be a little more difficult to find. But groups are a great start, and just like doing some research hashtagging on Instagram, checking LinkedIn is a really great resource for people looking for a more professional virtual assistant that they want to be a little bit more on the high end of things. If you're looking for, just a couple of odd and end tasks, if you know you're working with a lower budget, a place like Fiverr is a really great place to go. But definitely checking in LinkedIn and utilizing hashtags and Instagram is highly beneficial to start really looking for your person.
So what are some things that business owners should look for in a virtual assistant? What characteristics, attributes, things like that? What should they look for?
Right. So definitely a good listener, a good communicator, really important. Someone that will really guide you and hold your hand and keep your best interests at heart. I think that looking for that one-on-one personal attention is or is just key. It's huge. It's huge because if you don't have that, and maybe we'll get into that in a little while, if you don't have that, things can fall apart quickly. You want to make sure that this person is honest with you, that they're really truly holding your best interest of your business and your brand at heart. They're honest with you. They can guide you creatively. So there's a lot of important things that I feel personally, again, just what I've seen in the industry, that go overlooked, and that really shouldn't. Communication, you want to make sure you're aligning on almost an energetic way. I know that sounds a little woo-woo, but I promise it's not. You want to make sure you find your mate, your match, if you will, because at the end of the day, if you are a serious entrepreneur looking to grow your business, you cannot have someone that's just going to be with you for a week or a month. You want someone to be with you long term so that you can reach your optimal growth. But that person also needs to know what they're doing as well. They should have the knowledge, the background, and the experience to be able to back up everything that they're verbally telling you and make good on the deliverables.
So now that brings me to my next question, which is the virtual assistant themselves. Um, can a virtual assistant have one client, or should they stick to? Um, can they stick to one client, or can they work it out with multiple clients?
I've seen it with both, and I've personally done it with both. I know a lot of VAs out there that just love their one-on-one. They have 1 to 2 clients, and then that's it. And there are a lot of VAs out there that like to have a couple, maybe 5 to 10, maybe more like 3 to 5. It really depends on what the goal of the VA is. If you are a virtual assistant and you are looking to build an agency, then you as the VA, you're going to start putting in place your team, and you're going to be able to take on a heavier workload. If you know that that's not what you want, and you really do want that just 1 to 2 clients, maybe just even the one, then you stay with the one, and maybe you're with that person for a year. Maybe you're with them for 3 to 5 years. So it really does depend on what the virtual assistant wants, and they should really consider what they want before just diving into something as well, because that's very important too.
So can anyone become a virtual assistant?
That's a really good yet tough question. I think that with, if you develop certain skills over the years, I think anybody could. Should anybody? That's maybe a different conversation. But I think that if you have a certain skill set to back that up, and it's something that you want to do, great. With that being said, there should be a passion in your heart for the small business owner and a reason why you're doing what you're doing. I don't know if you should just wake up one morning and say, and I don't mean this in any kind of way, so I don't want to get any heat for it. So I don't know if you should wake up one morning and say, you know what, today I'm going to be a VA. Today is going to be the day that I'm going to be a virtual assistant. And you might not have the background, and you might not have the skill set. You have no idea why you want to be a VA. You just see in front of you everybody else is being, everybody else is a VA. Everybody else is a VA. I can do it. And that's not the right reason to start any business. There has to be a reason behind it, and you should have a certain skill set. Now, if you wake up one morning and say, I want to be a VA, but I'm going to do my research first, and I'm going to take some classes to teach me and show me how I can be an effective virtual assistant, phenomenal. I am always in favor for anybody that wants to start a business. Always. I will never knock anybody in that space. I'm such a team player, and I applaud you if you want to start your own business. You just, have the reason, have the skill set to back it up.
So you mentioned classes. So to become a virtual assistant, if I wanted to be a virtual assistant, would I have to take classes? Do I need a certificate? Do I need a bachelor's, a master's? How does that work in terms of certification?
Right. So you don't need anything to be a VA. I mean, you could literally wake up tomorrow morning and say, I'm going to be a VA today. You don't need a degree, a certificate. You don't need any of that. But it's helpful, and it would really behoove you to just do the research. There are amazing classes out there that actually teach you how, programs, I should say, not classes. There are programs out there that can teach you how to be a VA, best practices, should you implement contracts. I mean, there are some really phenomenal programs out there. If being a VA is in your heart and it's something that you want to do, there's some really truly top-notch programs out there to teach you do it, to do it. So maybe you start off with doing something like that. Maybe you start off with, your first client. Maybe your rates are just a little bit lower so you can get that experience, see what you're good at. Maybe you decide to niche down, maybe you don't. There's a lot of moving pieces involved in that, but the end of the line is you don't need a degree or a certificate, and you don't have to take one of these programs. But like I said, it would really behoove you to do that so you know what you're getting involved with and you know what's involved.
So, who are the type of people that that want to be a virtual assistant? Can you get into the demographics?
It really does depend. That's a really hard one to answer. It does depend, but I think that you need, if you're asking me personally, I think a requirement should just be, to have some type of deep rooted pull or love or relationship to wanting to help small businesses. So if you don't have that, you might have a hard time. You might have a hard time in your business. If you're just doing it for financial reasons, you still might have a hard time because, to be 100% honest with you, this is work. This is work. It's hard work. It's not easy. There's a misconception out there that being a VA is easy. It's quick money. It's easy money. It's an easy job. It's not. It's not. I have 3 children, and some weeks I work 50 hours a week. This is work, and you need to be prepared for that. So finding a connection and finding, it for me in my heart, it's love. I love the small business owner, and I will go up to bat for them all day, every day. I'm passionate about it. There are gaps in this industry, and they need to be filled. So it depends on which way you want to go with it, but there needs to be a connection to, like, really being passionate about businesses and brands and helping entrepreneurs.
And I definitely see that. Um, but I'm wondering, like, is this an industry that is it mostly men? Is it mostly women? Is it people that want to work from home? Is it people with a certain education level? Like, it tends to be people who maybe don't have a high school diploma, or maybe they just have a high school diploma, things like that.
I would say, I mean, I've really seen almost a 50-50 split between, men and women. I see just as many men out there as I do women right now. A couple years ago, that really wasn't the case. I think it was more predominantly women. I could be wrong. It's just what I've seen. So I would say a split. Age ranges could be anywhere between, I would say 2021 to maybe 35, 40 about. Um, I see a lot of, I didn't go to college. I went to high school, but I didn't go to college. So there's a lot of, I personally went to college, but what I'm seeing out there is they went to, they've maybe completed high school, maybe they have their GED or they've graduated, but didn't go to college. It also depends on where you're looking. States different, certain parts of the country different, differ rather. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So something just occurred to me. What about typing services? Do VAs do that?
They absolutely could. I've actually never met a VA that did that. I've never offered that, but that would be a good one to get into.
Okay. All right, so let's get into a slightly tougher topic if you're ready. This is Hot Topics. So let's talk about outsourcing in terms of um, you brought up Fiverr. Fiverr. For those of you who don't know what Fiverr, it's pretty much anyone that'll do anything for you for a minimum $5. With the processing fee. But the thing is, all those people are from all over the world, right? So, there's people in South Africa, Great Britain, India, Iran, Pakistan. So I was wondering if you can talk about, I mean, not Fiverr specifically, but about the outsourcing of um, virtual assistants in other countries.
Right. So, yeah, this is definitely a difficult topic. And I just want to say to your audience, I'm so sorry for my appearance and the way that I sound today. The allergy season in New York is really hitting me hard. So, I apologize if you see me grabbing for the tissues. Um, so, I don't know where to begin with this one. Outsourcing is great. Okay. I don't want to knock anybody. I know this is a hot topic, but I don't want to knock anybody, certainly. And you really it comes down to what you want. Like we were kind of touching on a little bit before. If you are a brand new entrepreneur, you are just starting out, you have 20 bucks in your account, then going somewhere like a Fiverr would greatly benefit you. Fiverr's a great platform. Fiverr's a great platform. But keep in mind that growth requires an investment. You cannot grow and scale your business if you do not properly invest. And I'm not talking a couple $100s either, guys. I'm talking, you know, thousands. It's what it is. Maybe close to 1,000, but these are for higher end services as well. So you really have to consider what you want, and you have to consider if you're a serious entrepreneur and you want that growth and you want to scale, you need to be cognizant about time barriers and restrictions, language barriers and restrictions. Hiring someone, if you're here in the US and you hire someone overseas, again, not knocking it. If that's your path, that's your path. I encourage that. But you need to maybe be aware of their knowledge when it comes to your brand, your businessing brand, and your messaging. I see a lot of language barrier issues that happen, and ultimately the relationship, it puts a strain on the relationship between VA and entrepreneur because there's a barrier. There might not be brand understanding. Not that there's no understanding. They just might not be able to articulate it as well as you can, you being the entrepreneur. So you really just need to be aware. First, you need to get super clear on your goals as a business owner, and then you just really need to be aware of some issues that you might encounter with outsourcing.
Right. And then I noticed too that a lot of like the big companies out there, and even I want to watch my words carefully. Like even if you just listen to the accents of the representatives on the phone, you could tell it's a foreign accent. So there's a lot of big companies that are outsourcing to India. So what um so I'm wondering, why do you think people would outsource to assistance in other countries as opposed to um, investing in those resources here in the U.S.?
So it's definitely, I think a lot of it boils down to finances. Where you are financially in your entrepreneurial journey, what you can afford, what you think you can afford. And I think a lot of it comes down to that. But I also really believe in my heart that there are people here in the US that really want to give people from other countries the opportunity, that want to be able to provide for somebody, because right, other countries, I feel like sometimes we really have it good here in the US, and people from other countries do struggle and they want to make something of themselves and they want to do better to provide for their family. And I think that if you are an entrepreneur on a mission, because you have that connection in your heart to help someone, overseas, amazing. I am such an advocate for that. My husband is from Guatemala. I have family in Guatemala, so I completely understand wanting to, having that connection to, like, what, this person is just really, they're amazing at what they do. They're trying to provide for their family. They might be in a tough country, a tough spot in their lives, and you genuinely want to help them. That is a very different reason for I want cheap and quick and I want it yesterday.
So I think you bring up an interesting point about, people outsource to other countries because the rates are cheaper. Because the currency exchange rate is a lot higher in those countries, which is why they can afford to charge a lower rate in American dollars, because the exchange rate is so high in their country. So, as opposed to, seeking those services in-house, in country, because you're ending up paying up more. So there is a financial component to that. So in terms of, so let's talk. So while we're on the topic of money, let's talk about rates, right? How much should a business owner pay a virtual assistant? Or how much should a virtual assistant charge? I know it's two different questions I just asked you. So let's start with one. How much should a business owner pay a virtual assistant?
So I would say to that, it depends on what they're looking for. It really does. It depends on what their business is, what they're looking for. That really is it. It really just depends. I mean, for example, if you, because I don't want to leave you asking me a question and I'm asking the question right back to you. So if you are just needing, we'll say, email scheduling and maybe client follow-up, then, I mean, well, that's a tough one too, because I really need to know what the business is. And if they're more high-end follow-ups and what's the volume of emails going in and out. I am always an advocate for paying people above the minimum wage, because I just think it's a nice human act, to do. Because minimum wage in a lot of this country is really hard. I live in New York, and and I know California, the same. It can be really difficult. So, you want to invest your money wisely. I get it, right? So going back to the example of, what did I say? Phones, emails, follow up, maybe some scheduling here or there. I mean, I would say, depending on the part of the country that you're in, I would say anywhere between 16 and possibly 18, 20 an hour, depending. I'm trying to give you a fair range, but it really does truly depend.
So what about something like social media content curation, maintaining someone's social media? How much should a business owner pay for that?
So, I mean, I'll be very honest with you. They should be prepared, because that is a that is a niched market, and that is a specialty of social media management and content creation is considered a specialty. It's not just, your general, admin VA stuff. So because it is specialized, first of all, you need to make sure if you're a potential match in your team member, right, your VA comes to you and they have 10 years of experience, you can expect that that's going to be a high ticket price. If they don't have a lot of experience, but you really want to give them an opportunity, you can expect to probably have it fit your budget, and whatever budget, you have to set aside X amount of dollars for marketing, a marketing budget. But being that it is a specialized service, that it's gonna run you more than just admin work would.
Mm. So now let's look at it from the other side of the coin. How much should a virtual assistant um, offer their services? What rates or range should a virtual assistant say that they charge?
Yeah, so first and foremost, if you're a virtual assistant, know your worth. And I cannot stress that enough. You have to know your worth. Um, because otherwise, people will take advantage. I've had it happen to me several times. We've all been there, I'm sure. So you really have to know your worth. You have to look at your work experience and your work ethic. If you're someone, we'll go back to the 10-year example. If you're someone with 5 to 10 years of experience, you need to look at that and don't charge a low fee. That's that's time, that's a lot of experience, that's your experience and your expertise and your know-how to take, your entrepreneur to the next level. So you need to charge for that. That's not small dollars, that's big dollars. If you are a VA that's just starting out and you really want to get your feet wet, take a look at the hours that you think you are going to put in and kind of try to calculate how much you want to be making. Maybe it's $30 an hour. Maybe it's $50 an hour. $50 an hour is going to be more on the high end. Okay, 20 to 30 is going to be more on the low end. Under 20, maybe you're just starting. You want to start out with a couple of clients. When I started, I'll just use myself as an example. I started my company. Well, it's just a very small business when I started several years ago. But I charged because I'm a people pleaser. I'm an Enneagram 2, I think, the helper, for those of you that are familiar with the Enneagram. And I'm a people pleaser big time. And I was excited to start my business. I had just left corporate and I took whatever. I accepted minimum wage. And in here, the state of New York, that's $15 an hour. That's exactly what I did. Just starting out, I wanted to learn. I was an eager beaver. I wanted really to get in there, but I wanted to test the waters before charging big money. I had the experience. I have 10 plus years of experience behind my belt, but in this space, as an entrepreneur, I was fairly new. This was a long time ago, right? So I took on, $15 an hour. Then I went up to $18 an hour and so on and so forth. And now I don't do hourly at all. I offer packages because that's what fits my needs at this time. So it really is dependent. It's, the VA space, there are, as I'm sure you could tell, there are a lot of moving pieces and a lot of questions need to get answered, before you make that leap, and pricing and finances is a major component.
Would you also recommend that people who want to be a virtual assistant or who currently are a virtual assistant um, look at the rates of other people in the field and see what they're charging, or to look at the national average in terms of rates?
Yeah, absolutely. That's important. Doing your research is really, really important. Do your research on rates. Don't compare yourself to other people, but do your research. Absolutely.
Mm. All right, all right. So you definitely have given us a lot to think about. All right, so let's start to wind down. Um, do you This is the part of the show where I ask my guests if they want to share any words of wisdom. So, do you have any final words of wisdom you'd like to share? Anything you want to impart? Maybe it's something you wish you knew when you first started that no one told you. Maybe you want to tell that to other people. So, what words of wisdom would you like to share?
It's really quite simple, and that is to just be authentic. Just be authentic. Be your beautiful, incredible, raw, real self always. Because when you start on down that path of people pleasing, you know, it won't get you very far. And I speak from experience. We are, for all entrepreneurs, we all live in a very saturated market. And that's not a secret. We all live in such a saturated market, and I don't care what market you're in, it's saturated. That's the evolution of the online business space right now. So being authentic and staying real to yourself, not following all the trends out there that everybody else is following, with the singing and the dancing and the pointing to words on a screen that aren't in there, and how do you properly jump in and out of a video. I mean, look, if that's your thing, I applaud you. But stay true to you. If something feels off, listen to it. If you feel called to do something in an area, do it. Don't be afraid of what other people are going to say, because other people will talk. You're always, and in life, right? You're always going to have that, always. But be real, be you. This is your business. It's your baby. If you can't be authentic and real with yourself, no one can do that for you. So that's definitely something just to impart on future VAs, future entrepreneurs, current entrepreneurs. And then just the one piece of advice I have to the entrepreneurs listening: growth requires investment. I say that gentle and with so much love, but you are not going to grow and scale your business the way that you want to unless you invest. That is a cold, hard fact. And once you can understand that and appreciate that, and bring a high ticket service into your business, you're going to see growth if you have the right member, if you're really creating that dream team. So I'll say it again: growth requires investment, no matter what.
Awesome, awesome. And sorry, I just had another question that just came to me. So, where does a virtual assistant find clients? They're for people who are ready to go. What's the first step? Where can a virtual assistant get the first client?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So you just have to market yourself. I would reach out to friends, reach out to family, maybe get active on social media, active in the DMs. Excuse me. I would maybe try to change your profile on Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever you're kind of hanging out on social media. Test the waters, change your profile to virtual assistant. But it really all boils down to marketing. It's not in the who it's the what. So it comes down to marketing and making connections and just appealing to your target audience. So once you know who your target audience is, you can work a strategic marketing strategy around that and get some traction.
All right, there you go. All right, so Brittany, thank you so much for joining me today. Let me put up your banner here. All right, you guys. So Brittany is on social media, right? She's just sticking to Facebook and Instagram right now. So definitely follow her on Facebook. Her Facebook page is there as well. And if you're an entrepreneur, definitely join the group. That information is scrolling below. And she is also on Instagram, so definitely follow her there. Follow her there as well. And she doesn't quite have a website yet, but it's coming. The website is coming, so it's one of her goals. So hopefully, in the next interview, the website will be ready to go and you guys can see it. So if you have any questions, um, concerns, or anything you want to talk to Brittany about, she is available. So please reach out to her on social media. I should put your email there, but can you just briefly tell people your email?
Yes, of course. It's info@brittnygregorio.com.
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to type that right now. Email is info, at, what is
brittnygregorio.com.
Brittany Gregorio.com.
Go on one, I know.
All right, all right. I'm just going to add your email to this banner as well. All right, so I just added her email to the banner. So you can also send her an email at info@brittanyGregorio.com. It's her name, guys. So, you can't miss it. So definitely reach out to her, if you have any questions about anything that we talked about today. Brittany, can you tell us about your business?
Yeah, so I went from a VA. I was VA for several years, and now I am a marketing strategist specializing in content marketing for entrepreneurs. I help all kinds of business owners. I've been helping a lot of coaches recently, but I help all entrepreneurs of all walks of life and all stages in their entrepreneurial journey. And I help them develop a clear cut, unique marketing strategy that is effective, that sort of goes against the grain and goes against the fads, because I don't believe in that. Being authentic is the name of the game, and that is ultimately is what is going to appeal to your market. So I work with my clients and implement a beautiful strategy, and I help them launch, which is a really big thing. If you are an entrepreneur and you're listening and you haven't launched, you need to. It's important. And I'm all heart when it comes to my business. I got in this for the right reasons, and I'm still in it for the right reasons. And I love business owners, and I love brands out there. Brands that are purpose driven are the people that I really love to work with. And it's been an incredible ride. I've been in this game for almost 10 years, and it's been absolutely amazing. I wouldn't be doing anything else. So
Awesome. And you heard it there. And do you provide one-on-one services, or small groups?
yes, yes. A lot of one-on-one. It's all about that personal touch.
All right. Is it just one-on-one? Do you do like classes, workshops?
I don't do classes and workshops right now. I will have a free workshop actually coming this summer. So when I have the details, I can certainly provide, you with those. But I work with a lot of clients right now, and now I'm building my team, which is a beautiful thing. But it's, what makes us different is that we offer a very high touch white glove service that you just can't get with larger agencies. So, and maybe we'll talk about that next time. But
All right. Yeah.
that it's all about, just that personal touch is everything.
There we go. And there you have it, you guys. So definitely reach out to Brittany if you're looking for those one-on-one services. Definitely stay in touch with her. Follow her on social media. Social media is such a big thing now. So it's definitely get involved and check her out on social media. Follow her, and learn more about her and her services. And again, feel free to reach out to her if you want those services for yourself or you need help, starting it. All right, Brittany, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me
Thank you so much
today.
for having me on. This has been such a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All right, let me place you backstage now. And it's just you and me, guys. So let me get up my banner here. All right. And we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, wherever you are watching this episode right now, whether that is Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, maybe Instagram, wherever you are watching this right now, please check out our social media for more videos and clips. And don't forget to follow us. Follow us, like us, subscribe to us, whatever the button is, do it to us. And while you're at it, please let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below or in the comment thread. And as a reminder, this show is a production of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you would like to learn more about our services, our workshops, the things that we have to offer, please check us out. Our contact information is scrolling below at the bottom of your screen, but I will say our website. Our website is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And you can also sign up for our email list and our texting list. I encourage you to sign up for those things as well. You will get exclusive information about our discounts, our promotions, and any special events that are going on. So I definitely encourage you to sign up for the email list and the texting list, or either or, but I prefer you do both. So definitely sign up for those as well. And those links are also scrolling below on your screen right now. And for those of you watching this on YouTube, all of this information will be provided in the description. All right, so I'm going to play this final message before we leave today.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this web series, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Note: we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
All right, and that is it. Thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. And now I am signing off.